let's talk about addiction. Let me go to a party here real quick.
All right, bet. Addiction.
I went to a party a couple nights ago, and I didn't know any of the people, so the conversation was everything. It went everywhere. It went nowhere. It was just people who didn't know each other talking to people who didn't know each other. And like, what was it? Like vape pins came up, or those little like cartridges now, and people talking about their experience with that. And then like things that people are hooked on came up. And then we got to the part where the phrase addictive personality came up. And this guy who was talking to me, he was like, yeah, I mean, like, I've never had like an addictive personality. And there was part of
that annoyed you.
there was part of my personality that was like, you lying sack of shit. Like, what? Like, I can't even comprehend this human experience without the element of grasping at things and evolving through graspings to then realize there's a different grasping in front. So
like levels to being addicted, levels of addiction.
yeah. But also just like, I mean, we could substitute the word addiction for attachment, something Impulse. I'm not willing to let go of.
That's what I mean. Like, it's like addiction as this like big catch-all for like, it might not be the thing that we could point to that's like torn my life down, but it is something that I'm like
compulsory. Yeah. So I'd like to follow up with him on
from a loving part of your personality, or
no.
Yeah, man.
It's like, I don't think I believe that anyone this is just a belief of now, as of, February or whatever it is. I don't know if I believe that anyone is incarnated into this human experience without work on letting some attachments go.
Yeah, I think me and the viewers have seen that there's a part of you that doesn't like to even entertain that.
I just don't see how. I just don't see how you can be human and not be hung up somewhere on this physical earth experience and not have the first name Jesus, last name Christ, or be a Buddhist. Like, I don't see how you can be, I'm on one. I don't see how you can be dropped into this earth school knowing we all have to grow and we're all here to evolve, but somehow have no evolving around the physical world experience. Like, there's so much you could grasp at here. I just don't understand how you're not so you don't grasp at anything? You don't like cars, you don't like homes, you don't like hot people, you don't like food, you don't like alcohol, you don't like...
Well, addicted doesn't mean you don't not like it.
Yeah, but like, you don't like it a lot?
Look. I just got to worry about my path. So I wasn't at the party, but
yeah.
Look, if that fella isn't struggling with addiction, good for him, and he's here to learn something.
Yeah.
I mean, so you and all those players.
Yeah.
I love all y'all.
Tell them what you mean by players, because they don't know.
It's frightened parts of Lindsay's personality. The splinters, they're all players, different players. So we talk about we got players on the bench. It's something that we took from another one of Gary Zukav's books, Spiritual Partnership. That's the one, right?
Yeah.
And so Lindsay just had all of her players. They got up, they went and started a brawl on the court, all of her frightened parts, and now they're going to get a suspension. And Lindsay's the coach of those players. And so hopefully she can get them to sit their ass down.
Yeah, they'll sit back down. Cashew, though. Cashew. I don't know if y'all can hear that, but can you hear that licking he's doing? Okay.
Cashew's doing the thing that has spoiled his opportunity to sleep in the bedroom. It's that addiction he has that has him stuck in the hallway.
Just if you're sensitive to sounds here, turn the volume down for a second. This is the sound he's making. And Will, if he sleeps on the bedroom floor, he'll make this for 6 hours.
Yeah. Okay. Why, Chris, why are you
Addicted.
Anything that I am addicted to, the right now is painful. And from that place, an addiction is born. So if I even start at the micro, it's like addicted to YouTube. So if like I'm chilling with you, and you go off, do your own thing, you go take a bath, whatever, we chilling, sky's asleep or whatever. Mm-hmm. The moment you walk off to go do your own thing, because I'm in the light when I'm with you, you know, I'm not going to look at YouTube while you're here with me. But when you walk off,
thank you.
You're welcome. When you walk off, the open space of the right now, there's something about it that hurts. Mm-hmm. Not all the time, but in a given moment. And this is through like my unpacking, like, what is it? Mm-hmm. And it's, I'll call it like boredom, but it doesn't have to be boredom. Like, I'm in pain in some way. That's why I'm bored. And so the thing that takes the place is YouTube. Not intentional YouTubing, which I love. Like, I'm in the biggest YouTube university. Like YouTube is my favorite social media platform. I feel like it is like what the beauty of social media was intended to be in a lot of ways. And I love YouTube from that perspective. And what I'm talking about right now is you walk off, you're 3 steps up the stairs, and I've clicked the app on my phone, and now YouTube's open.
Yeah.
So it's like, it's born from fear, you know? And I think that a fear or a pain is a natural cause for most of, if not all, addictions. What is your take on that?
Yeah, that's my take. Yeah.
Yeah.
I just ran through my own addictions. And I think even the word addiction, it has, like you said at the beginning, it has levels. And Gary talks about the level of the potential or active destruction to your life that addiction is at. Like, the loving Earth School will put something of like its opposite but equal value up against that addiction. That's like essentially like, here's the price you're paying. Mm-hmm. And he talks about that with it's like sex addiction. And okay, let's say you're in a committed monogamous relationship. Okay, you can follow that addiction and path, but like, what is going to juxtapose that with is your marriage. And I think about the things in my life that I've been or are hooked on. And yeah, they come, like, fear is what I resonate with, particularly with coffee. It's like the fear of it's like the fear of running out of energy, not having enough, being a way that's not excited enough for people, fear of being uninterested in my day, fear of being uninterested in my life, fear of not being motivated, fear of not making something of myself. And I mean, shout out to the people who can just drink coffee. And yeah, fear and pain. Yeah. So I agree.
Yeah. I mean, so for this program, 50 Days of Evolution, for 40 of those 50 days, we have decided to put into this program a fast. And
which I've liked calling a sacrifice.
okay. And since I think you've articulated it great to the group, do you want to talk more about the whole about the sacrifice?
Yeah, so the sacrifice period is 40 days, and it's a sacrifice of something. It can be physical, it can be an action, a sacrifice of something that the sacrificing of that is in service of your higher self, the next evolution of yourself. It is the practice of sustaining from immediate gratitude, not gratitude. Abstaining from immediate satisfaction, or what's the word I'm looking for?
Yeah, gratification.
Gratification, that's it, thank you. For the service of your higher self. And so it's not about villainizing the physical, because that's the thing with addiction. That's the thing with the physical world. Like, whatever. Like, let's say this here water bottle. Let's say this was full of Mott's apple juice.
Okay.
There's nothing, well, I wish Mott's apple juice maybe didn't have added sugar to it, but I'm still going to go with, like, there's nothing inherently wrong with apple juice. This is not a villainized apple juice. But if I'm slugging and chugging apple juice for every meal of the day, and I'm making no other choice around my diet than Mott's apple juice.
Yeah.
I'm going to have some problems. I'm going to stunt some evolution. I'm going to pay some karmic debt. I'm going to have some pain. And so I just want to be clear that, like, it's not about this sacrifice time. It's not about looking for something in our own life to villainize and say, well, that thing's bad, so I'm going to stop doing that because I'm distancing myself from bad things. It's like, well, no, whatever it is not bad.
Right.
Your personality might be using it in a way to pacify fear, pain.
Yep.
And so let's explore taking some steps back from that for 40 days so that we can meet the parts of our personality that are doing it. And then evolve.
When I first heard you land this idea for the program that we're co-leading together, the way that you just shared it really shifted the perspective of how I thought about sacrifice. It shifted what I thought about fasting from a thing, because the shift was that it was something in service of the higher self, not taking away to honor God. And I think both are still happening. However, it's like it's a different container that you put it in. And so I chose consuming online content as the thing that I was going to fast from. And that led me to this.
Dun, 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 dun.
Yeah. Oh, text you? Okay. Hey, can I call you, just a little you, later? L8R. All right, bet, Sin.
40 days of the 50 days.
led me to that because there's nothing wrong with YouTube. There's nothing wrong with Instagram. There's nothing wrong with Twitter. There's nothing wrong with TikTok. I have seen myself learn instruments, learn how to paint cars, learn how to do all this cool stuff. So much learning and growth of my relationship, personal development, all from the platform of YouTube. Great places to go overland and camp. Because we be out in them woods, if y'all don't know. And I've also, that same YouTube source, I have also experienced myself self-soothing pain by chronically watching personal development short videos. I mean, hours a day. Like any short video I could watch to get a hit of it's gonna be okay. And they were all, like all great people, and I'm sure. And it's just, I was addicted to personal development and spiritual content for a time. Like I was addicted to it.
Have you ever searched, should I break up with my girlfriend? Ever in your life?
No, I haven't. I haven't ever searched that.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Me neither.
Yeah.
Not like with you, but in the past, like when I've gotten into, the answers are out there somewhere. I've gotten on the internet and be like, should I break up?
All right, so then let me give you like this time period in my life is like, it's like very start of COVID. It's what to do during the dark night of the soul. How long does the dark night of the soul last? How will you know when the dark night of the soul is over? Do twin flames go through the dark night of the soul at the same time? Is there a difference between a twin flame and a soulmate? At what stage does a man find a soulmate? Are you a man if you don't have a soulmate? Do all humans have a soulmate? Is a soulmate part of the human existence? Are we evolving away from monogamy, therefore evolving away from needing a soulmate? It's just like, bro, and sure, all of that can also be great learning. And I was coming from a place of running from what I was feeling, which was overwhelm, feeling unworthy, feeling unsuccessful, feeling lost, feeling bored, feeling heartbroken, feeling broke. So yeah. I mean, dear God.
Yeah, I've run from the
Jordan
feelings
Peterson,
of brokenness.
Aubrey Marcus, and Teal Swan. I'm sorry because I had y'all's virtual selves talking to me so much. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, so the 40 days portion of 50 days, you're off the scroll hole. That's what I'm off to. I kept my phone with the apps.
Yeah, Lindsay's our head of marketing here, so we needed her to keep her social media apps, and I'll vouch for you.
Thank you. And I know very clearly the difference between getting on there to post something and work, which also, sorry for the one post that went out in the last 7 days. There's a difference between getting on there to work and post and getting on there to like make time move faster or numb myself from whatever scrolling is just going to distractify. So, all right, the cost. Here's my thing with some of my addictions. My personality plays this game with me. It's like, well, when I've very clearly intuited the area for me to grow through the practice of releasing something I'm grasping, my personality will play this game of comparison that's like, well, that's not ruining your life. It's like
it's like your intuition speaks first. You allow the intuitive truth, the knowing into your being. Personality comes next.
Starts to negotiate it because it doesn't want to lose it.
I know I relate to that, and I know everybody who's listening going.
Yeah, it doesn't want to lose whatever that sense of external power that it has when it engages in that practice or hangs around that person or whatever. So it starts getting in there negotiating. And, my higher self, I know that my scale for growth is not, okay, I'll grow past it if it's ruining my life, but otherwise I won't. It's like, no, I know that I'm here to keep evolving. And sometimes those evolutions are like one hand up on the next rock and pulling myself up. And sometimes it's like a huge leap and I don't want to discount the making those small moves that really I'm scared of at a personality level. Otherwise I wouldn't be negotiating with myself. I don't want to play that game of discounting making those moves because I'll maintain. It's really the fight for mediocrity. It's like, well, it's good enough as it is. It's not ruining my life now. My life's okay.
Resisting the change.
Fighting for the same.
Gary writes in the chapter of addiction, why does the personality resist acknowledging its addictions? The personality resists acknowledging addictions because that forces it to leave a part of itself out of control or forces itself to do something about it. Once an addiction has been acknowledged, it cannot be ignored, and it cannot be released without changing your life, without changing your self-image, without changing your entire perceptual and conceptual framework. We do not want to do that because it is our nature to resist change. Therefore, we resist acknowledging our addictions.
Where is that? Will you point to me where you just read that?
This top one.
Resisting acknowledging. Okay. Why does the personality resist acknowledging its addictions? The personality resists acknowledging addictions because that forces it to leave a part of itself out of control or do something about it. Once an addiction has been acknowledged, it cannot be ignored and cannot be released without changing your life. I think about the categories in my own life, and this is I'm putting out there for the viewers too, where I'm spending energy trying to convince myself that something's not out of control or therefore, and I never use that wording for myself. I use the it's in control.
Right. Like I got it under control.
Yeah. Like, oh, I'm making a choice about this. It's like, we've all said I could stop.
The energy
but you're
spent
not.
to keep the addiction up.
Yeah.
The convincing spent, the selling yourself.
Mm-hmm. I remember talking to one of my friends who is very active in AA, and we were talking about like that internal conversation around, or maybe external too, around alcohol and the personality having conversations with itself. Like, okay, well, I'm just going to be like a casual drinker. I'll just drink when I'm out with my friends, or I'll stop at 3 drinks in, or I'm only going to drink on weekends, and or maybe weekends and Wednesday, because that's the middle of the week, and I deserve that, and all those things. And he was like, yeah, if you're not addicted in that category, you're not spending time having conversations about how you got it under control.
I feel that. And one of my indicators to me that like I'm up to something that's off is if I see that thought activity, like if there's so much thought happening around something I'm trying to do, it's like something's off, dude. Yeah. You're spending time lying to yourself so that you can sell yourself on doing this. Cause like, just like acting regular isn't that loud when you're just doing things. And yeah.
Acting regular isn't that loud. No, it's not.
So something you earlier, you touched on this, and I want to come back to it. Gary writes, the greater the desire of your soul to heal an addiction, the greater the cost of keeping the addiction. And so I want to talk about how the stakes up. And I think you use the example of like a marriage may hang in the balance or a career may hang in the balance.
A home.
Things will get bigger and bigger and
child.
bigger. Yeah. And it's like, yo. And it's compassionate. It's compassionate. Like, yo, you have got to change this.
Make a choice. Because your current choices are now costing you this.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm.
Yeah. I mean, there's a lot to say. I mean,
and a lot we're scared to say.
yeah. What I'm thinking about right now is like times and I don't want to say times I've totally cleared this from my personality field, but I think about like eating patterns of self-soothing fear and pain and like sugar, overeating, that kind of stuff. I can I feel really clear that there was a cost to that of general gut health. And like, now I don't eat gluten because my system's like, no, we can't handle that. Don't eat that. Don't eat that. And it's different than being punished. And I think that's important. It's just karma. It's like, it's cause and effect. It's, and also what I really like about life is it's not over till it's over. And healing and rebuilding and like creating new connections again. I'm just thinking in the realm of like people whose addictions have destroyed their personal connections with other people. Like there's so much space and opportunity.
You saying like if you're still alive, there's still an opportunity to move forward and create something new.
Yeah.
Yeah, and how much something has ruined your life is never a reason, is not a good enough. It's not like, okay, just F it all. Like the damage of the past is not worthy reason not to create a future. And it can feel that way. And our brain, that our personality will latch on to that if that's another justification as to why I don't have to evolve.
Yeah.
In our relationship, I've gotten the opportunity to heal the not an addiction to sex. I've gotten an opportunity to heal the addiction to validating myself through sex. And that I can't necessarily say that like our relationship has hung in the balance because of that. I do think that early on in our relationship, I was able to clearly see that if I did not mature the way that I related to sex, and that if I did not get free in how I approach sex, that it was going to be hugely detrimental to our relationship. And so like one thing that this chapter reminds me of and shows me is that like something valuable will hang in the balance. Because like if I was still getting it, if I was still getting a sense of worth fulfilled from sex, then I would have been closed off to the type of connection that is possible for us with our sex. And I would have been closed off from the type of freedom that is available for me to express myself to you, that's different than I need relief from this pain of unworthiness.
Yeah.
I need relief from this pain. So like we need to have sex so I'm not in pain. Like that was so like your addiction may be a block from you experiencing joy in the same avenue. You know, the way that you're experiencing things, simply challenging and healing the way that you're entering into any activity can change it. And I've firsthand experienced that.
Sex is a big one. You know, I remember very young, there's like 3 main reasons people get divorces. And I only remember 2 of them right now, but it was like sex or finances.
Those are only 2 I remember.
Yeah, sex and finances. And Gary brings up, he talks about his addiction to sex, or I don't know if he does in that chapter, but he has a lot.
He does, and he also says something like, worldwide, sex is the most common addiction right now because of the role it plays in external power.
Yeah, and that's exactly what I was going to bring up. The power dynamic that can be fought for within sex. And he goes on to even talk about the people that like we are, I'll say on a whim, sexually attracted to. It's not just about attraction, because he mentions like attraction is like a normal experience, like okay. And I
want to piggyback on that. Yeah. Gary didn't say this, but intuition told me to add this.
Okay.
From our last podcast, temptation is a normal experience too. So like, let me throw now that we're going down sex, like being attracted to somebody, being tempted, these are normal experiences.
Yes, but what he does put in the like addicted category, if you will, is like out of proportion feelings of excitement and a sense of fear,
magnetism and fear.
Yes. Then he also goes on to say it's like the frightened parts of our personality are attuned to the frightened parts of that person's personality in a nonverbal, energetic personality conversation that's like, oh, you are weaker than me right now. So I can live out the desire for external power through a sexual interaction that can affirm the splintered parts of me to pacify that. And it's been it's just such an interesting way to think about like becoming like I this hasn't been an experience I've had, but I've heard stories of like people becoming like workplace obsessed with one of their coworkers. And it's like to look at it through the lens of like, oh, but you're actually you're viewing them on some level as weaker than you. And so it's like, it's just a power play.
Best, like, if you're using somebody for a sense of relief, that person is using you for a sense of relief.
Yeah.
If you're using a person to fill a void, that person is using you to fill a void. It might not be the same void, it might be, but that person is using you to fill a void. And like, yeah, I've lived that. I mean, like that's what you're calling in. That's what, like, that's your, it might not be what your words are saying. It might not be like consciously what you think you're up to, but like energetically, that's what you're calling in. And that's the strongest intention. Intention is the strongest thing, is the only thing. What stands between you and a different life are matters of responsible choice. In your moments of fear, what you are obscure about in your thinking is the power and magnitude of your own choice. Recognize what your own power of choice is. You are not at the mercy of your inadequacy. The intention that will empower you must come from a place within you that suggests you are indeed able to make responsible choices and to draw power from them. That you can make choices that empower you and not disempower you. That you are capable of acts of wholeness. First thing that comes to my mind is like, it seems like a recent, like the no FAP movement where guys are getting on like stopping masturbating.
The no what?
FAP. I don't even know what that means. FAP. No FAP. I don't know.
Okay.
I mean, but I love it.
Okay, yeah, say more.
I love it. I love it. I'm on it. I'm on the train, you know, like, and what I love it from a place of like, where are you coming from with it? Mm-hmm. From the place of, I think it's so healthy.
You are on the train?
I'm on the train.
Since when?
I've been on the train.
You have?
I've been on the train. I might have not been perfect on the train.
Okay.
But I've been on the train for 3 years.
You've been on the not masturbating train?
I've been on the not masturbating train. You've seen my slip-ups.
Okay. And that's it. Okay. And I didn't know you before I knew you.
Now, if you don't call me out, call me out. But I'm on something. I'm imperfectly on something.
Yes. No. Yeah. No. And I didn't mean to call you out. I'm gonna turn my phone on just to look up what that acronym means.
No FAP.
Yeah.
Look it up.
It's loading.
Oh yeah, it turns your phone off for the podcast.
Okay.
Where was I?
You read the quote about the versions of yourself that you have access to. Then you went on.
Oh, yeah. Okay. For the masculine, the reason why I like this no FAP thing for the masculine is like, it's not about like not jacking off. It's about understanding that impulse to jack off is not an all encompassing desire that has to be fulfilled. Mm-hmm. And I fuck with that. Like, I think that is a powerful skill to learn. I think that is like a maturing and healing skill to learn. And had I not gotten on that, I wouldn't have met you.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah.
How so?
Because not jacking off for an amount of time helped me see how I was calling in partners. It helped me see the untamed energy and the addiction and the fear and the energy that I needed to release that was calling in, or that was calling forth what I was getting in the role of feminine partner.
Here's what the internet says. No FAP is an internet community originating as a subreddit where men and a few women discuss their struggles with porn addiction and masturbation addiction, engaging in abstinence pledges to avoid both. FAP, F-A-P, is a slang term for masturbation that has become increasingly popular over the last decade or so. So no FAP, meaning no masturbation, is about, well, not masturbating. The so-called no FAP challenge, no FAP has gamified the experience of rebooting over a period of time chosen by the participant. Both 30 and 90-day reset challenges exist. I love a good challenge.
I'm really glad this is what the internet definition says. And I should make sure I know what something means before I say I'm on the train. Yeah. But I got lucky with this one.
No, listen to this one. Challenges exist in the no FAP community, including the well-known No Nut November.
November is my birthday month. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. 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 It's crazy. It's crazy. The you did know about this. In the 2 months before I met you, extremely no fap.
Yeah.
Extremely no fap, and also was like I had a spiritual practice of like, I won't call it like officially prayer, but like a stillness of like being with the urge, like daily. That like when the urge to like, oh, when it, cause it was coming up daily.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like being like, okay, I need to be with this. And then 2 months later, you pulled me over on the side of the road.
Yeah, I did. Which is an interesting thing. I think because we're talking about sex, this is going to be the video with the highest views. Just, I want to put that on the record. Keith's shaking his head, yes. You mentioned earlier in this podcast replacing addictions one for another. And it's interesting because I'm grateful, A, for that work you've done, because
still doing.
Let's say you hadn't, or you'd said, okay, I'm going to no fap, but not really gotten into the parts of your personality that was, it's like, okay, there's the action, but then there's like the intention. What was the intention? To get away from feelings of inadequacy or whatever. You could have then gotten with me and been like, okay, well, had you not pulled up the root system, then been like, well, now I'm with this partner who, okay, we need to use sex in this way that I used to use masturbating, and like, and really just like cover it up. And Gary says something in that last quote you just read about covering up and like shielding from our awareness from the light, the why we're doing what we're doing in the attempts for external power. And I just think that's a really beautiful thing, because I have a sense that there's kind of lost what I was going to say. Do you remember what I was going to say?
Nah, but I mean, thank you for that. And then what I do know is that when Gary said, the greater the desire of your soul to hear an addiction, the greater the cost of keeping it. I mean, since we're here now, there was a time in our relationship where I returned to watching porn for a short period of time, and that had an immediately negative impact on our relationship. And it took no time before we had a conversation, and it was like, this don't feel good. This don't feel good. Mm-hmm. Okay. I'm not on that. Okay. Mm-hmm. It feels real that you're not on that, and I need you to not be on that. And I'm like, I need me to not be on that.
Yeah.
And, so it re-emerged. And so I wasn't trying to, and I'm not trying to act like it's something that I like just overcame in those 2 months before I met you. And I do know that choosing the path was like something that like helped me align with you. And it's not that I don't think I was like a dope person. Like, I think I was a great person. I think I'm a great person now. I do know that to attract your power, your purity, your beauty, that was in the way. And it's not, I didn't know you, and I didn't know that was in the way of you. I just knew that when I thought about who I wanted to align with in partnership, like the type of woman I wanted to align with, I knew that was something I had to face. And to keep you, I know that's something I have to face.
Which this is what I wanted to say earlier, just because I want to say it. I think that there can be this assumption within how we as humans, Cashew snoring, relate to sex and interact with sex. There can be this like assumption that, well, once you're in a monogamous committed relationship, if you're being faithful and being monogamous in that relationship, well, there's no, and there's no like, there's nothing addictive that can be present with sex. And I think that's like,
oh yeah, that's not true.
it's not true. It's not true. It's, and I think, generally speaking here, I think women, I'm not ready to make that statement.
Yeah. I feel you.
But yeah, it's like,
I respect the discernment.
Thank you. There's not a container where you can just jump in it and addictive parts of the personality diminish.
I'm laughing because whatever you were about to say, I'm like, if we're not already canceled based upon something I've said this part, you were about to just
I was gonna do
put
it
the
for
nail
us.
in the coffin.
Yeah. But that's okay if that ever happens. I mean, but yeah, so there's no container. You can just, like, you know, wherever you go, there you are. The age-old phrase in the book I've never read. But there's not a container you can just put yourself in where parts of your personality that are fighting for external power are suddenly, that's going to be, there's going to be no more cost associated with that because you moved to a different city, or now you're in a monogamous relationship, or whatever.
And it caught me off guard. It caught me off guard to find myself on the defension, on the defense in the realm of fap, no fap in our relationship, because I was under the illusion that, oh yeah, I acquired the discipline. I got the girl. We're moving forward. We're building this life. We have a baby, you know, and then it's like, oh, here goes this desire re-emerging itself, you know? And so I was under that illusion that it would be gone or something.
Yeah. As a fun game in the comments section for the place that I paused with the sentence, I think women, ... if you are so daring, go put, this is for women only, go put in the comments what you think I was going to say.
Yeah, that's good.
It's going to be either crickets in there or some really great sentences.
One more time. The intention that will empower you must come from a place within you that suggests you are indeed able to make responsible choices and to draw power from them. That you can make choices that empower you and not disempower you. And that you are capable of acts of wholeness. And to me, it's like regardless of the impulse, you have the choice to act or not act. And every time you choose to not act, you get the opportunity to grow stronger and receive the karma of not acting. And I have so much compassion for anybody in addiction. And I know there's a lot of addictions out there that I have no idea about the intensity and the pull and like the chemical drive of those addictions. And I'm not trying to pretend like I do. However, I just want for people to overcome addictions because like I want us to get free.
Yeah, I really you know, like I've shared, I think in the last podcast, I've been up close and personal with a family member of mine in some battles with attachment and addiction. And I really, through my own work of exploring the areas I'm attached and hooked, like as simple, seemingly simple as the years I've been saying, okay, I'm going to do something different with my screen time. I'm going to do something different with my phone use. The years I've been saying that. And I know because I've been sitting with how painful the experience of not shifting has been and how much conscious choice it takes to change a pattern. I really have grown more and more compassionate in the realm of when there's chemical addictions, when there's like patterns that run deeper and way wider than how often I pick up my phone. That's one thing that I know examining my own attachments has given me access to that I didn't have before, which is just immense compassion and a sense of like, we've all got big work to do. Like, there's no separate, there's no like, oh, you have an addiction that's ruining your life, but I don't, I'm good. It's like when I do the work of revering my own life and therefore putting down the practices that are me explicitly not revering my life, when I put down the addictions that I have, I am participating in doing the work of freeing us all from addiction. And when someone who has lost everything to addictions takes one step, well, they are helping me to unbind the parts of my personality that grasp at the worldly. And yeah, and so like my fear to change that comes up, my fear to do something different, to let go of something, well, it's like I really feel connected to, and from this place I can feel more empowered. It's like, well, I can make a difference too in our whole human experience of addiction. And that's something I can back.
Your healing is our healing. Y'all's healing is my healing. That's what we got. All right, y'all.
Namaste.